Good evening and welcome back to The Nation at 9. I'm Ritangshu Bhattacharya. Ever since Nirbhaya awoke a nation's collective conscience, an angry response to similar atrocities has often been to castrate sex offenders, only to be dismissed as hyperbole, reflections of vigilantism, and something which is detrimental to a fair and just legal system. But the honor from the Panmana Ashram in Kerala, where a charlatan proclaiming himself to be a godman found his private parts cut off after the victim of his sex abuse for 8 years finally decided that enough is enough and took matters into her own hands, has seemingly gained a lot of mainstream acceptance. While Chief Minister Pinari Vijayan lauded it as an act of bravery, the State Women's Commission too hailed it as a necessary step. Are we to believe now that an eye for an eye isn't really the last option, but also even perhaps the best option? Tonight on The Nation at 9, we will be asking some key questions. But first, here's what happened.
He raped her for 8 years, but she couldn't disclose her ordeal to anyone, for her own mother had turned her foe.
നിങ്ങൾക്ക് സൗകര്യമുള്ളൊരു തീയതി എന്നാണ്. സൗകര്യമുള്ളൊരു തീയതി തരണം. ഒരു മെയ് മധ്യത്തിന് ശേഷം ഉള്ളൊരു തീയതി ആയാൽ നല്ലത് എന്നും പറഞ്ഞു. അങ്ങനെയാണ് കത്തയച്ചത്. പലവട്ടം.
She then decided to take it no longer and castrated the self-styled godman who had stripped her of her own soul.
This incident took place on Friday night at her residence. The man has now been admitted at the Trivandrum Medical College. He is undergoing treatment and the police have slapped POSCO case against him. While the police have not filed any case against the women, activists say there needs to be larger awareness on how family members itself are most likely the perpetrators of such grave crimes.
Support has poured in for Kerala's braveheart from all quarters.
This is how, in fact, all girls and women should treat men who dare to molest or rape men, in this country. I think this is how we need to deal with men. Kudos to the girl.
I hope that the government and the administration will have a very sympathetic attitude towards what she has done. Maybe they can have counseling, maybe they can keep her in a home, but I don't think she should be treated as a criminal.
While castration has been made legal in many countries of the world, India is mulling over options for harsher punishment to child sex offenders. But is legitimating an eye for an eye the only option that is left? With Lokpriya in Chennai, Bureau Report, NewsX.
So the big questions tonight on The Nation at 9. Why did the system deny justice to this woman while she was being raped for 8 years? That's question number 1. Question number 2. And others in the ashram equally culpable for allowing this horror to go on for a period of 8 years. Next up, are the Chief Minister and the Women's Panel legitimizing vigilantism by lauding the victim's actions here and asking her to not be prosecuted by the government? Also, is mainstream acceptance of this act proof of the rising of victims' actions here and asking her to not be prosecuted by the government? Also, is mainstream acceptance of this act proof of the rising disenchantment with the law among society? Also, is an eye for an eye ultimately the last resort in the face of delayed justice? And finally, and perhaps most importantly, can Netas really absolve themselves of their own responsibility by lauding such vigilante deeds and ultimately encouraging them in the process? Let's open that out to a panel joining us right now. We are joined by Asha Devi, the mother of Nirbhaya, Leher Sethi activist, who is joining me from Delhi. Also, Vikram Singh, former IPS, is joining us from Noida, and we hope to also be joined by former member of the NCW, Shamina Shafiq. Asha Devi, coming to you first. Welcome to the show. आप सबसे ज्यादा हम में से शायद जानते होंगे और आप महसूस कर समझ सकते हैं कि इस विक्टिम के ऊपर क्या क्या बीती होगी. आप जानते हैं हाउ इन आवर कंट्री लॉस और जस्टिस सिस्टम इतना डिलेड है, इतना लेट है कि न्याय मिलते मिलते 5 साल हो गए आपको अभी तक इंसाफ मिला नहीं है. क्या आप मानते हैं कि ऐसे सिचुएशन में, ऐसी स्थिति में ये कहा जा सकता है कि ऐसे एक्सट्रीम मेजर्स लेना, जैसे कि कैस्ट्रेशन हुआ है इस केरला के पंडित के साथ, ये एक्सेप्टेबल होना चाहिए और उसको एनकरेज भी करना चाहिए?
आप एक बार बताइए हुआ क्या है, मुझे पता नहीं है।
अच्छा, मैं आपको क्विकली ज्ञात करवा देता हूँ। केरला में आश्रम में एक सेल्फ प्रोक्लेम साधु के साथ ने एक नाबालिग लड़की के साथ 8 साल तक रेप किया और उसके बाद इस लड़की ने उसके प्राइवेट पार्ट्स को काट दिया है। और ये माना जाता है, मुख्यमंत्री और स्टेट वुमेन्स पैनल ने दोनों बोला है कि उस लड़की ने सही किया है। आप इस बात को मानते हैं?
बिल्कुल मानते हैं। अगर 8 साल से उसके साथ शोषण हो रहा है, उसका कोई सुनवाई नहीं हुआ, उसकी कोई मदद नहीं हुई, उसने जो किया सही किया। अपने बचाव के लिए अगर उसने कुछ किया तो ये गलत नहीं किया है, मैं मानती हूँ ये सही है।
Let's say, are we really seeing an increase in mainstream acceptance of such vigilante acts? And more importantly, is it really fair to celebrate them instead of introspecting as to how we as a society and as a justice system have abysmally failed in ensuring justice to such victims?
No, I don't feel that we should laud this act, but at the same time, we need to sympathize with the victim here. Because what has led her to do this, and why is it that our judicial system has absolutely no trust in itself? I mean, why is it that people do not feel safe going to the cops? Why is it that people don't feel safe waiting for justice? In Nirbhaya's case, you can see that it's taken so many years for it to finally reach the Supreme Court and for there to be a verdict. Are we going to wait for this long? And then I don't know how much longer it will take for actually capital punishment to be doled out to these people.
No, but
it's a different
is
thing.
This really a solution there, Seti? Because obviously it cannot be brought into, it cannot be legitimized as a legal sort of punishment, and it cannot, and even if it is, even if castration is made under punishment, the victim often cannot be given the right to take the law into her own hands. But are we actually, is this anywhere an option?
No, it is not. What I'm saying is, there's something called the battered woman syndrome, which is something which is acceptable in a lot of countries, and it is a term that has been coined because these things exist. So for this girl to have been raped at the time, which is like the prime of her life, at the age of 16, 17, 18, girls are usually having a lot of fun, going out, making friends, deciding what they want to do for the rest of their lives. At this time, if this woman has been brutalized and you're saying that her mother knew about it and even then nothing was done about it, just think of the psychological impact on this girl and why she has taken the law into her own hands. At the same time, what I do not understand is that why did this girl not go to the cops, did not go to the media, she did not go to any other family member?
I have the answer to that. I have the answer to that, Leah Sethi, because when asked as to why she had to do something like that, the circle inspector of Petai Station, Thiruvananthapuram said, and I quote, that she knew that no one would believe her if she had been sexually assaulted by a man of God. So perhaps this was the only way she could think for. Vikram Singh, isn't this massively indicting of the police system and the justice system here? There are some people who believe to be so above the law that taking such extreme steps is the only option feasible to such victims.
Absolutely nobody is a holy cow, not even the godman. And in this case, I would not fault the survivor in the sense that the society failed her, the police failed her, and the mother also was a willing accomplice to the whole sordid saga of the exploitation of the child for no fewer than 8 years. As a helpless child, let us see natural justice and jurisprudence. Section 96 to 106 of the IPC clearly lay down the rules of private defense. Now, the rule of private defense, I would not like into the gory details of what the possibilities were. The possibilities were to protect herself. She obviously braced herself for the event when the godman would force himself upon her, and then she will take recourse to defend herself. And this is exactly what she did. As an investigator, I would not fault the survivor for what she has done. To the contrary, I would say that YD Section 99 of the Indian Penal Code, she has exercised her right of private defense. Vigilantism or any form of taking law into your own hands can never be condoned and should never be encouraged. But exploitation for 8 years, mother being an accomplice, the society and the police failing her, and the police have a lot to learn from this episode, and they need to draw certain very important lessons in their SOPs, how best they can see, and to make them more receptive. There should be more women police officers, there should be more psychologists at the police stations and at the police offices, so that such traumatic cases can come freely and unburden themselves and speak in confidence to those who will listen to them with an ear of sympathy and take such remedial measures as to give some confidence and relief to the survivors.
So while it's unanimous right now and the view pervades across the country, not just in the studio, that no one can fault the girl for what she did, and as some have called it, was indeed an act of incredible bravery, and she does deserve to be lauded for that. But the bigger question is the responses that have come in from the political system here and as well, who have actually hailed it as perhaps the only and the best possible option to go ahead, and that is telling of their own policies. Asha Devi, क्या ये अत्यंत सोचने की बात है कि देश में इतने लोग मान रहे हैं कि ऐसे स्टेप्स जैसे कि कैस्ट्रेशन और ऐसे अपने ही बचाव में जो इस लड़की ने किया है वो एक जरूरी मात्रा में उसको करना चाहिए? क्या ये काफी सोचने की बात नहीं है कि देश का लोगों के देशवासियों का भरोसा उनके कानून और उनके पुलिस पर इतनी बुरी तरह से हट चुका है?
देखिए, यहाँ कानून और भरोसा हटने की बात नहीं है, यहाँ खुद को बचाने की बात है। आप सोच सकते हैं कि अगर 8 साल से या 5 साल से उस बच्ची के साथ क्राइम हो रहा है, उसका शोषण हो रहा है, वो कितनी बार मरी होगी, कितनी बार जिंदा हुई है, वो पता नहीं किसी से बता पाई, नहीं बता पाई। तो अगर उस सिचुएशन में उसने ऐसा किया है तो गलत नहीं किया है। बात कानून और उस पे
नहीं, हम मानते हैं कि उसने गलत किया नहीं है। यहाँ पर कोई ये नहीं बोल रहा है
पता चलेगा कानून।
आशा देवी जी, यहाँ पर कोई ये नहीं कह रहा है कि उस लड़की ने गलत किया है, हम ये नहीं मानते। बट बात ये है कि 8 साल तक वो इस तरीके से पीड़ित रही, उसे कोई न्याय नहीं मिला। क्या ये ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट और ज्यादा बड़ी समस्या नहीं है?
बिल्कुल बड़ी समस्या है। अगर उसको न्याय नहीं मिला, अगर उसको इंसाफ नहीं मिला, उस थाने में केस नहीं हुई, तो बिल्कुल गलत है कि 8 साल से वो बच्ची पीड़ित रही। तो जब उसको न्याय नहीं मिला कानून से, तभी तो उसने ये कदम उठाया। उसको सपोर्ट नहीं मिला तभी तो ये इसने कदम उठाया। तो अगर हमारे देश में ऐसा ही चलता रहेगा तो ऐसे ही होगा। किसी का हाथ काटा जाएगा, किसी की आंख फोड़ी जाएगी, किसी का कुछ होगा, ऐसा ही होगा अगर हमारा शासन प्रशासन इस बात को नहीं ध्यान में रखेगा। जब भी केस होता है पॉलिटिक्स तौर पर उनपे दोष थोपा जाता है। मैं तो ये कहना चाहती हूँ कि कम से कम जो बच्चियों के साथ देश में, विदेश में, शहर में या ऐसा क्राइम हो रहा है, पॉलिटिक्स से अलग हट के इस पे एक ठोस कदम उठाना चाहिए। जो समस्या है उस समस्या का हल होना चाहिए।
जी, आशा देवी द्वारा रही हमसे। Shamina Shafiq, former member of the NCW, also joined us. Ms. Shafiq, you have gone on record and on our NewsX camera saying that this is perhaps the most befitting punishment for any sex offender or any rapist here. Are you actually going on to perhaps suggest that that victims of sex offences should actually stop believing in the legal system to ensure them justice, and perhaps look at ways of taking the law into their own hands and ensuring justice for themselves, like this girl, this braveheart in Kerala has done? Their own hands and ensuring justice for themselves, like this girl, this braveheart in Kerala has done.
Well, I'll ask you another question. Are you trying to suggest that women should get raped and
no, I'm not.
Actually wait for justice for years and decades rather than defending themselves? So my point was that, so this is what I'm trying to say. This girl, this woman, she was getting molested, raped for years. And probably that was the day when she had the guts, and maybe that was more than enough for anyone. So what she did was absolutely right, and the kind of law and order situation that is prevailing in the country right now, the kind of mindset that the society depicts as far as crime against women is concerned, it is now just one crime, that's all. Nobody tries to understand women are actually human beings. When their body is ripped off, when they are raped, when they are sometimes murdered, it's actually, I mean, you can't even imagine as a man. So what a woman is going to do?
No,
is she going to get raped?
and herein lies my chief complaint. Herein lies Herein
Any
lies the
woman
problem
who's
as I see it,
subjected to
Shamina
any
Shafiq.
such form of violence.
The pervading view coming not just from you but also from the state chief minister and from the state's women's commission is that there's no point waiting for the law to help you. There's no point in waiting for the justice system to do its job. You need to take the law into your own hands. You need to take care of yourself. And if you can, good for you. If you can't, it's unfortunate. Yeah. Vikram Singh, we have heard the Kerala Chief Minister hailing the act as brave and courageous, but he has not set any inquiry or he has not ordered any probe as to why this act went on for 8 years. The State Commission of Women has come out and given a statement saying that this is something which is an extreme step and had to be taken, it was necessitated, but there's no word on why this step was necessary in the first place. Are we to now believe that women actually have no alternative left but to take such extreme measures like this and have to completely lose any faith of getting justice through the legal means?
I presume it is self-evident that inquiry will have to follow as to the circumstances under which the survivor had to take this extreme step. Obviously, this is one of the rarest of the rare cases. Please listen to respected Asha Devi ji, respected Shamina ji on the helplessness, the anguish and the trauma that the survivors have to go through. It is not the question that the society has failed our daughters, the police have failed our daughters, the helplines have failed our daughters. It is all too well for you and me to say that yes, rule of law should not be faulted and rule of law should always be implemented. Presuming that we go into the shoes of the survivor, imagine what you would expect from the police and what options you have that law provides you. Right of private defense is given to you, to me, to the rape survivor, and in this case, I would say, even it is a rare of the rare case, I would not fault the survivor for what she has done. To the contrary, I would say, in such traumatic circumstances, if this be the case, so be it. Exercise your right of private and personal defense in a manner as this survivor.
Fair enough. Let's say, can the powers that be absolve themselves of their own responsibilities by lauding such actions?
I think it was not in a very good taste that, the Chief Minister lauded an act like this.
The powers that be have a responsibility.
Mr. Vikram Singh, I'll just come back to this question was to Lair Sethi.
But yes, what I'm trying to say here is that why is it that this victim did not deem it necessary to talk to anyone about it, to talk to someone who could take action, someone like somebody in a police station, somebody like a principal or a teacher? Why is it that we're in a position like this today as women?
What action is being taken? In Rohtak, the woman's parents, they went to the police station. The police said no FIR, try to compromise, try to come to a settlement. And the Rohtak victim, she lost her life. So you are trying to say that the people, at that point of time, your mind doesn't work. Please try and understand.
I'm not in any way saying
years
that what this girl did was wrong. What I'm trying to understand is why she did it.
Shamina Shafiq, let Lair finish a point. And the point being that nobody here is saying that what the girl did was wrong.
You need to understand, because we have one example.
Nobody is denying the fact that what the girl did was necessary. But the question
is,
why was it necessary?
What the girl did or what...
Right in front of you.
Let's say you go ahead and finish your point.
What I'm trying to say is that we need to set a precedent here. Like, for example, in Nirbhaya's case, it has taken all these years for the court to finally give a verdict. And even then, even after the verdict has been reached, the juvenile has gotten away. One of the men was murdered or committed suicide in, jail. So what justice are we talking about here? What I'm trying to say is that we don't have faith as people in our justice system. If we had faith, then maybe this girl would have gone and reported this to somebody. Why is it that we do not have faith? Why is it that we fail the girls?
And who is responsible for this lack of faith, Shamina Shafiq? Who is responsible for this trust deficit? If the rapist can get away and get his just asserts by having his private parts chopped off, what about those who fail to give a sense of security to this victim?
Well, the system is responsible. Pretty much the system is responsible. The first contact point that a woman comes to whenever she is molested or there is an attempt of any such sort, she goes to a police station. Now look at the scenario and situation in police station. What happens? You have a very fresh case of Rohtak in front of you, and I can quote hundreds more such cases because at NCW I've dealt with so many cases wherein the police actually starts interrogating the girl herself, the woman herself, and they try to ensure that there is a compromise between the perpetrator and the survivor or the victim. So, and of course there is a lot of bribing underhand, under table which goes on, and ultimately the woman is left into tears actually thinking that was it her fault, because she's made to realize it is her fault. One. The second thing is that person, you look at Nirbhaya's case is not just it was about the world which was looking towards the case, and anguish was there, and it took 5 long years to come to a conclusion wherein you talked about a fast track court. So the entire the surrounding has been vitiated to an extent that there is no talk about providing safety to women.
And that there is no talk coming in from the State Women's Commission as well. There is no talk coming in from the State Women's Commission as well as to why the state government and the state police machinery let this victim down. Vikram Singh, are we to believe that the police system is perhaps one of the greatest offenders when it comes to not giving the sense of security or the sense of justice to the victim?
The post-Nirbhaya chain of events go to show that there is a lot that needs to be done in policing, investigation and prosecution. Unfortunately, in a scale of 1:10, we'd expected something around 9 out of 10 to have happened in these 4 years. Unfortunately, not more than 3 out of 10 scale things have happened or improved. We do not have lady police officers, we do not have lady prosecutors, we do not have lady judges, we do not have fast-track courts. And the first fault, as Madam has very rightly pointed out, going to a police station is yet another trauma.
We do not
and
have
I would dare
forensic
say
labs.
the second rape. The prosecution and the trial is the third rape. Let us try to lessen.
No.
We do not have forensic labs. That's very true. I was pointing to the infirmities of the investigation and the infirmities within the system, the cult of masculinity that prevails in the police working. And as Madam has very rightly said, but a sense of decorum prevents me from going into greater gory details. Yes, investigation has to be precise, surgical, and a no-nonsense approach. Any acquittal in rape cases must be dealt with very, very firmly, whether it was bribery, whether it was casual.
Just one final question. In the presence of a system which is clearly having its flaws, where does one draw the line between vigilantism and self-defense?
Look, I want to say something here. Before the victim actually decides to take the step to go to the police station, the victim does not know how the police is going to react or how they're going to handle her case. This is all, these are all things that, one forms a perception in their mind by listening to other people or seeing what has happened in other cases. So, we need to set down a precedent wherein we take strict action against people who indulge in such acts. And it is not just rapists, it is molesters, it is people who indulge in eve teasing. When we don't take any action against these people, how can we expect a victim to have faith in the police? Their police comes later. I mean, we are right now talking about how a person feels or how a girl.
All right, Shamina Shafiq wants to make a quick point.
When something like this happens.
Shamina, go ahead.
See, after Nirbhaya, after the Justice Verma committee was formed, was proposed. See, after the Justice Verma committee was formed, was proposed there is going to be a one-stop crisis center in every district. This was proposed by Mrs. Gandhi. Then it was again said by the Prime Minister that no, not district.
All right, we seem to be having some problems connecting to Shamina Shafiq at that critical juncture, but I'm running out of time, so let's go ahead to Asha Devi to really have the last word. Asha Devi, हम आपसे ये विवाद को समाप्त करते हैं. आप मानते हैं कि आप किसको ज्यादा दोषी मानते हैं? वो पुरुष जिन्होंने इस महिला का एडवांटेज लिया, 8 सालों से उसका बलात्कार किया, या उस सिस्टम को जिसने 8 साल तक इस औरत को न्याय नहीं दिया?
दोनों। पुरुष का तो सबसे बड़ी गलती है कि उसने 8 साल एक बच्ची के साथ शोषण किया, लेकिन सबसे इसमें कमी हमारे कानून को है, जो 8 साल से वो पकड़ा नहीं गया, वो जेल नहीं गया, 8 साल से उसके ऊपर कोई कार्रवाई नहीं हुई, तो दोनों की कमियां हैं। आज देख रहे हैं देश में हालात क्या है, लेकिन
Indeed, and that is where it's important to conclude this debate with the need to introspect into really as to whether it is
ऐसे ही होना है। आपको 1 साल पहले की बात सुनिए।
All right, I'm afraid I'll have to wrap up the debate there. Asha Devi, I'm sorry for having to interrupt you, but I'll have to wrap up the debate. But thank you so much, Asha Devi, Shamina Shafiq, Leher Sethi and Vikram Singh for joining us on the panel here. It's important to not just